Okay guys, we are at our final card for paper and ink cards for April. If you place a $50 order online with me, Marisa Alvarez.stampinup.net, using the host code DFVYYFTU, I will send you a card kit for each of the paper and ink card class cards. I've got them all linked below. You can see the 4 cards, place your order, and it's automatic as long as you use the host code and you shop at MarisaAlvarez.stampinup.net. In this card, the last one of our paper and ink card for April, we are going to feature the unbundling, but not retiring, Sea of Textures bundle. The Sea of Textures stamp set. It's a clear mount set, 9 pieces. Going to transition to cling mount into the new catalog. Can be bundled with the Under the Sea framelits. Now I took most of the dies out here because we're using a lot of them. Lots of die cutting on this card. With Under the Sea framelits dies and Sea of Textures can be bundled together, buy both products and save 10%. That discount is not offered in the next annual catalog starting June 4th. So if you've had your eye on Sea of Textures, now is a great time to get it. It's a beautiful bundle. Great products, and I want to show you kind of a fun and funky color palette to work with these products. I use my stitched rectangles for this card. My Stampin' Pad is Blueberry Bushel. The consumables for this project are lots and lots of scraps. This card is a beautiful way to use up some scraps. All right, so let's start with our card base, 8.5 by 5.5. Scored at 4 1/4. This is Blueberry Bushel. This is 1 by 4 3/4. And from the Brights 6 by 6 Designer Series paper collection, this one is 5 1/4 by 2 inches. I've already die cut my stitched rectangle for this project, and that one is, let's take a look here. I just want to make sure I give you the right one to cut. That is rectangle D, which is the 3 15/16 by 2 5/8 stitched rectangle. And then the rest of it is scraps. Just grab your scraps. We're gonna stamp and die cut and make this beautiful little montage of, I don't know, great little under the sea, corals, sand dollars, that beautiful net. I've got some gray granite, some Coastal Cabana, Flirty Flamingo, Pineapple Punch, a little bit of Whisper White for our sand dollar. Now, when you get your kit, I've already cut the center of the sand dollar out of sparkle paper. All right, so that's the either Dazzling Diamond or the new sparkle paper. And then we've got a piece that's about 3 by 3 for stamping our octopus. So let's start there. Let's do our stamping. And we're gonna need our card base, rectangle, and that square for the octopus, and the Blueberry Bushel Stampin' Pad. I'm going to go ahead and ink up my octopus, and I want really good coverage. So you're gonna check as you go. Light taps onto the ink pad is going to get you the best coverage without smushing the details. Do you see those little tentacles? All the details on this stamp. If you match this stamp into the ink pad, you are going to fill those up with ink. So with the Stampin' Pads, it's really important. Just take your time, tap, 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 lots of light little taps. Check as you go. Add more ink if necessary, and you will get such a gorgeous impression. Look at that. Oh my goodness. It dries a little bit lighter, but what a gorgeous color. All right, now next up, we have our greeting here. Thanks for reaching out. Gonna ink that up in Blueberry Bushel and stamp it in this upper left corner of our rectangle. And then we need a little scratch paper here, because we're going to extend past the edges of our card. And I'm going to just, for a little help, I'm going to dry fit in my paper. It helps me to better visualize where I'm trying to stamp, because I'm just going to go with a strip of this awesome texture But I'm going to line up and then just kind of flick my papers out of the way. I'm going off the top edge, ink up again, and then right off the bottom edge of the card, straight across. That's all. It's a very small detail, but it contributes to the whole picture. All right, let's clear away the ink pad and we're gonna grab our Big Shot. Okay, so if you know me, you know there's nothing I love better than cards that can do all the die cutting in one pass. And because we've got all these bitty little scraps, that is not a problem. I've laid out each of my scraps with the framelit, and now I'm going to just line up this little octopus dude, and we'll cut all the die cutting, every piece for this card, all in one pass. If you plan ahead and you use your scraps, this is going to be a very quick card to make, even with all the details. So we'll crank this dude through. All right, and I did go back and forth on my net just to get a cut straight through all those little details, but I only cranked half the machine forward and back because I didn't want to wiggle the dies on any of these other small little cuts because it would just ruin the cuts. But it should go all the way through on all of these. I'm gonna grab my little die brush, clean these up, and we'll get back and assemble this card. We're back, we've got all of our pieces die cut. Let's go ahead and handle this net. What I did with my net was I took a little corner of it and just ran some multi-purpose liquid glue on some of the strands and then put it on the edge of my stitch rectangle. We're gonna give that a second to dry and add some dimensionals to the back of our octopus and our starfish. Starfish? Is that what that is? No, sand dollar. For the back of the sand dollar, I want a full dimensional right over that opening. And then I'm going to add my little glitter center. For my octopus, I'm gonna put a bunch of little mini dimensionals to support this whole dude. Okay, so we've let the adhesive firm up a little bit on our rectangle, and we're going to cut off the excess here and keeping it as complete as possible. It's going to make our net look very dimensional. So we got the little corner, and then let's go ahead and adhere some of these elements to our card base. You know me, I don't like a bunch of elements hanging around that don't need to be. Okay, so we need the pineapple punch first. It's going to overlap our stamp backgrounds. All right, there's our designer series paper. Next up is our greeting panel, our focal panel, and you want to take the remaining piece of net before adhering down, and you're going to make it so that it hangs out from behind, and then you can add a little bit more adhesive over for security. This guy is going to go to the left of center, but we want to make sure that we see some pineapple punch from the top and bottom underneath this main panel. Right on side. All right, now I'm going to take my multi-purpose liquid glue here and just drag a little bit along the back of the coral, picking up the excess with one of the bigger pieces. You can kind of use the two pieces to get your glue spread out on the back of a finer piece like that, but then you don't waste the extra glue. You'll use it when you put down the coral piece, the flirty flamingo piece of coral. So I'm gonna go ahead and adhere down my seaweed. And then my little coral piece here, spread around some of that adhesive, but before I put it down, I'm gonna drag my little pineapple punch piece, all those small little bits on the back of this flirty flamingo one. Make a little bunch. Now it's just peel and stick. We're almost done. Got the little sand dollar. I keep trying to call it a starfish. Here, that guy. And then last, our little octopus. Put lots of little half dimensionals to give him some extra support. Those are all sticky. And we're gonna go ahead and adhere him so that he kind of brings the elements at the bottom together with the greeting at the top. Let him flow off the natural boundary of that focal point. It really does make the card more interesting to look at. All right, there it is. Thanks for reaching out. That is the fourth and final card from the Kitchen Table Stamper Paper and Ink card class. To get the card class delivered to your door for free, you place your order between now and May 1st at marisaalvarez.stampinup.net. Your order has to be $50 and use the host code that's on the screen, and your kits will be sent out to you automatically. If you've got any questions about the retiring bundle discounts, the retirement list, this project, if there's anything I can do to help you stay crafty, email me, marissa@kitchentablestamper.com. To shop 24/7, buzz over to marisaalvarez.stampinup.net. Thanks for watching.